since you listen to Destiny, do you agree with his take on Kyle Rittenhouse?
Um, I agree that you should have the ability to shoot people who attack your livelihood. Um, like come in and throw a Molotov cocktail into your business or whatever. It doesn't matter if you're Target or whoever. Sure, they can take the measures to like recoup it because they're a national brand, but yeah, you should be able to protect your table that you put food on. As far as Kyle Rittenhouse is concerned, I agree in the sense that you should be able to go out and help people, but I don't know if his intentions. I can't say that for sure because I'm not him. But when it just seems like he's a a good old boy, as they would say in the South, where if they're going to another state to like stir up shit, and if something happens, well, I was defending myself, like his
Yeah.
intentions were kind of like muddled on what his true purpose of being there was,
Yeah, I can see that, and I personally don't like when the
like he was
conversations.
waiting for someone to like start shit so he could shoot at people. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think pretty much anybody walking around with a gun probably has that in the back of their mind the entire time. Like,
Right.
But I, for the most part, like
Like,
I had
did he
this.
honestly think he was like actually helping, like a business or whatever? Was he just wanting to like, come at me, bro, so I could shoot you?
Yeah, I had this debate with a bread tuber on my channel, and I I don't really care like what his intentions were, like overall. If people were attacking him, then like it's hard to say that somebody goes
Yeah.
out somewhere assuming that people will run at them and attack them, especially when you have a gun in your
Yeah,
hand.
I think that was also stupid. Like, you should not be charging people with guns.
Yeah, if somebody has a
like
gun,
that's a really dumb
you
thing to take.
you don't bring a freaking bottle in a grocery bag to a gunfight. So yeah, like
Yeah, I don't know if it was like miscommunication where someone was yelling, Dude's got a gun," and he thought, well, I gotta jump on the grenade before he starts shooting everyone. Like,
nah, this
you
guy,
never know if they were.
the guy who attacked Kyle Rittenhouse had numerous confrontations with him and the other
Oh,
militia guys throughout the night. I put together like an entire timeline of Kyle
okay. Well,
Rittenhouse's movements and everything, and it's pretty clear. Like that guy was just starting trouble the whole night.
right. Because okay.
Rosenbaum.
Yeah, if that's the case, then I'm more siding with Rittenhouse then, I guess. If you're just like antagonizing someone with a gun, you're gonna get shot. It's just dumb.
Yeah, he tried taking it out of his hands too. Like
It's like,
that's yeah. I do think that like it's a nuanced conversation because I for the other three people that like attacked him after that, it's hard to say like if I'm in that situation and I think somebody just murdered another person, I I might go chase after them. Like, I might like I think I probably have like a hero complex or something like that. Like I'd probably go take off after them and try to subdue them or something. And but at the same time, from Kyle Rittenhouse's experience, like or from his perspective, if he's innocent, all he did was defend himself, and now a mob of people are chasing him down, trying to attack him and take his firearm from him. Like, it's
yeah, that's where I thought it got kind of muddled because like the first guy was like a dumbass, and everyone else took it as like, oh, this guy's a shooter, We got to get him to neutralize the situation
Mm-hmm.
before, he actually kills more people because they didn't understand what had gone on before that,
Yep.
You won't like my take on this at all, but I'll give it to you anyways.
Let's get it.
I was a security guard for a long time, protecting businesses in Southwest Detroit, and also I took and was hired in to a major entertainment business who I was a security guard for, provided security. I think I did that 9 years. I led a team at one point. And there's something you learn when you're providing security. And this is maybe not learned by all people, but this is learned by the people that taught me professional security. Is that your gun, once you're providing security, your gun is not self-defense anymore. It's not. You have to do everything else first. Everything else first. And also, if you're providing security, I mean, there may be some circumstances in this world where you're going to need a rifle with several rounds in a clip, but you really don't. You don't. You don't never need that to provide security. What happened is there's extreme situations going on in this country, racial tensions and stuff, and Kyle got involved. He shouldn't have done that, to be honest with you, because now his life is, is really messed up. And whether or not you think he was innocent, self-defense, or some people, saying a terrorist, that doesn't matter. He just threw his life away and 3 other people are dead.
Yeah.
It's total nonsense.
I don't know why the fuck he was there. Like,
Yeah.
I don't either.
Why?
I can't assume I do know.
Yeah, I think most people agree that he shouldn't have been there. He was a stupid kid. He never should have gone in the first place. And that he definitely screwed up big time by making that decision. And he shouldn't have had a gun. He's underage. He's too young to handle a gun. So I think on those aspects, everybody agrees. It's more like once you're in that situation, you've already made bad decisions. You've already screwed up. But once you're there, everything after that, it doesn't mean that now people have the right to attack him and physically assault him because he's a stupid kid that made a bad decision to go to a BLM protest.
Well, legally, nobody has the right to be assaulting nobody ever, regardless.
Right.
Yeah.
That's basic, that's just common sense right there. It's the step in the fire thing. Okay, we're kind of ignoring, I don't know how to express it, but we're ignoring a blatantly obvious thing. It's a BLM protest. It's a step in the fire thing. And I don't know if he intended to actually be somewhat of a good guy. You mentioned something about a hero complex. Maybe he had that, and that led him to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I sure hope it didn't. I hope that wasn't the case, though, because it was nothing heroic. 3 people are gone, or 2 people are gone, and he's going to lose. Well, he might not lose his life to prison, but he's lost. This shit is not good for his life.
Yeah, I mean, there were a bunch of grown men who were there with guns who were ex-military and all sorts of stuff, and they seemed to truly be there just to protect businesses, and they all stayed out of trouble, and they all stayed out of fights, and there were no issues for them. And I can see where if Kyle Rittenhouse had just done that, and the first person never assaults him, never attacks him, none of us are sitting here talking about whether or not it's smart for a kid to go to a BLM protest. We're not even having a conversation.
Full disclosure, I was never a security guard when thousands of people were marching mad.
Yeah.
That's a different circumstance. I mean,
I was gonna say that, and then I my mind kind of drifted. But yeah, it was the scene in which he was operating from was totally different than just defending a point, of interest, whether it be a building or someone in particular.
Yeah, my anecdote really doesn't apply to his situation, but You know,
Yeah, like guns are the last.
they are though.
It's kind of like karate. Like you don't use it unless
Mm,
you have to.
yep, and that's the truth. Now, not everybody who's going to know that. I guess.
Yep. Yeah, I personally just enjoyed the story itself because it had so many
Angles.
so many angles, so many like ethical aspects to it. I had my debate with Hans of Harkir, and then pretty soon after Destiny and Vosh had their debate, and it
Yeah, he was just frustrated with the conversation, and then he kind of went off and said,
yeah, like
the shit needs to end because nothing is gained from, going around attacking businesses and stuff.
yeah,
Which I think he's
got-
trying to like separate the people who are protesting with the people who are just like shitting on businesses, because I think there's like a lot of people try to conflate the two as the same movement, like the right tend to do.
yeah,
Where Black Lives Matter, look what they're doing to these businesses. Well, like a lot of those people are stopping, the vandals and handing them over to the cops and stuff. Like these aren't the same people.
Oh, I had this debate on Prime's panel, and it got pretty deep because I tried to explain it to provocateurs on both sides. There are people who come in bad faith to situations.
Yeah, it's just like stop blanketing, the protesters from the rioters. Like,
And the thing is, I hate to use that term, both sides, because I do. He said, Tom, you said that you respect the racial sensitivity when you said, you respect the BLM and stuff. That's the side I'm standing on. I have a clear stance. However, there are provocateurs on this side. There has been since before I was alive.
yeah, yeah, of course.
it's like when people like when a team wins a Super Bowl or whatever, and they trash the town that they love so much. Like, it makes no sense at all. Like, you just cost the city a bunch of money, like they didn't need to incur.
I mean, normally when I have the conversation about rioting, like I get where Destiny's coming from and what he's saying, and I agree for the most part, but at the same time, this isn't some like Tim Pool take, like we're about to all have a race war or something like that, but there is a point where we're protesting and we're protesting and we're protesting, and every time
and nothing's getting done.
Not only is nothing getting done, but while we're protesting police brutality, they're coming out, they're hitting us with batons, they're taking our signs and taking them out of our hands, they're shoving us with shields, they're shooting us with rubber bullets and tear gassing us, and like the exact thing that we're protesting, they're doing it to us while we're protesting it. And at some point, you have to say, what's next? Protesting isn't working. What's next? And I hate to say this, but like guerrilla warfare, you don't go straight from protesting to war, right? Like there is an in-between phase, and there's guerrilla warfare, and that seems to be what's happening, but it's happening on an individual level. It's not like what the far righties are making it out to be, where it's like Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization out there trying to get everybody to go burn down their entire cities. That's not what's happening. But the people are fed up, they're sick and tired, and they're going out and protesting peacefully, and nothing happens except exactly what it is that they're protesting against. And so they step it up a little bit.
Yeah, I had that take. But I was never on a panel to like express it or anything. There's only like so many like town halls and events you can go to express your displeasure of how the government and stuff is being issued. Like, if you're in Flint, Michigan, I'm tired of drinking bottled water when I can't even drink the natural water that you're supposed to provide me, like before, people get violent. And I think it's kind of rightfully so, because they're violently being attacked, be it systemically or literally by the cops. And to not get their voices heard, or to, we'll hear your complaints, but we're not actually going to do anything about it.
Well, yeah, and then the
What
president
was
is even
Destiny's
endorsing
take
it.
on that?
So
I didn't hear Destiny's take.
So Destiny, for the most part, had echoed similar things to this up until Kenosha. And then after Kenosha, he said it needs to stop. The rioting needs to stop. We can't have people going out and burning down private businesses. So if somebody wants to go and stand with a gun and mow down violent protesters, then I'm in support of that. That's what he said. He got departnered for it, and
yeah,
yikes! I didn't know that.
Yeah, he lost like a couple $100,000 a year from
partnership. Whoa!
Yeah, that's in subs and ad revenue, and
he lost his Discord partnership. He lost a lot of
I don't know about Discord.
Yeah, he lost Discord as well. But the problem wasn't what he said. It was that when it was clipped out of context and posted onto Twitter, it was posted with the caption, "Destiny says white supremacists should mow down peaceful protesters," and which was a horrible misrepresentation of what he actually said. But when people go and they just read the caption and then reshare it hundreds of thousands of times, all of them believe Destiny believes that white supremacists should go and mow down peaceful protesters. And in the end, it doesn't matter if that's what he said or not. That's what everybody thinks he said. And so now advertisers and platforms and everybody else has to take into consideration how they look by platforming somebody like Destiny.
Yeah. And that was all like instigated by like Vaush's girlfriend and their friends and community or whatever.
Yeah.
Before they took it down.
Yeah.
What a catastrophe.
Vaush didn't like say to do it, but he didn't really do a good job stopping it.
I think
even though he'll claim he did.
I think Destiny overreacted towards Vaush.
I don't think he did.
I do. I think he did.
I don't think he did. I think he took the adequate amount of, because that's just fucked up. Like,
did Destiny backpedal from that take though?
I mean, more or less, he said, like it was like he had like a gamer moment, like people say.
What he said was he holds
inflammatory.
Yeah, he holds the same stance. He just shouldn't have said it in such an inflammatory way.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
And I guess
I don't agree with that take, to be honest with you, but okay.
I don't necessarily disagree with the take. Like, if somebody's coming to burn down my building, yeah, like we should mow them down. Like, that's pretty much what he's saying. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
I think he said it. Good.
It's like when you have a car and you need it to get to work, but there's an asshole that pops a tire every week. Well, at some point, $500 a tire, it becomes an issue. Like,
let me relate this to
$500 every week to get to work. You're gonna shoot some fucker,
I appreciate, and it's true. Your personal anecdote is most likely in real time very true. Individually, though, but let me elaborate. See, the situation is this: it's a little bit the word nuance. When you have this is a movement in society, in our country. A lot of people are engaging in this. to go in there with the individual mindset that I'm protecting my stuff from a movement, to me, has always been a little bit of a puzzling hot take. Because you're protecting your stuff. The people in the movement are on a much larger. This is a larger thing than I don't want to see nobody's stuff get hurt or their businesses damaged. Of course not. But it's not an individual. This is not an individual thing. And that's hard for some people to accept. It's not an individual thing. It's not the same situation as you're protecting your stuff. What's happening is there are things going on in our society, and there's damage going to be done. Hopefully, it doesn't happen to your stuff personally, but you can't take it personally. Or if you're going to take it personally, then what you're literally, to be honest, what you're doing is making a bold stand against the movement and all that it represents.
Well, there's a difference between the rioters and the movement, though, isn't there?
That's true. Now that's different. If there's a provocateur, that's the exception. If there's provocateurs, and this is genuine, you've caught some real provocateurs. You might actually get into a shootout or something. I don't know, in Minecraft. Okay, but as far as a movement, like, this is the thing. Us out there protecting our businesses from this movement is what's going to have you be the thing that gets the violence before the business does. You're basically you're inserting yourself into that scenario, and that's your choice to do. To be honest, in real time, think about it. There's thousands of people walking down the street. They don't know whose businesses are whose, and if one of those businesses is getting attacked, or and then you are there to protect it with your firearm, are you deciphering who's provocateur and who's not? There's too much variable to that.
I mean, if you literally see someone throw a rock or, try to get into your business or, break in.
Yeah, I can understand that. If there's still, you catch some people maybe running out with TVs and stuff, now you're making this elaborates a little bit farther. You're making a personal choice to whether you're shooting people down who took advantage of some anarchy in society or some chaos that's going on, and they made a dumbass choice and they're stealing materials.
All right, so
you're gonna shoot them.
Here's the question, though, because
it's a moral, ethical thing, is it not?
Kind of.
Something for you to ponder.
I've already given my take for why or my defense of rioters, but when you say that somebody who defends their private property is in direct opposition to a movement and is taking the opposite side, I have to ask, what is it that this movement is accomplishing? Well, let me ask my question real quick.
Down the street.
Let me ask this real quick.
Do they know that's your private property? Do they know whose property is whose property? No, they don't.
It doesn't matter. Let me ask my question.
It doesn't matter.
What does the rioting or the burning down of stuff actually accomplish? Because that answer will change my mind on whether or not it matters.
I don't know if burning stuff down accomplishes anything. I don't know that. I don't know if it does. If it does, maybe I could think of the things it might accomplish. I don't know. Maybe in a historical context. Is the burning stuff, is the recent looting and vandalizing going on during the movement, is that accomplishing anything? I don't know. I doubt it. It might be.
Because I don't know. If it's accomplishing something, then I think I agree with you that
I don't know that it is. No, I'm always honest. But see, what I got to be also, this strikes me as a little odd that there's a distinction between, you're operating in normal circumstances in society, and someone is trying to break into your business and rob you, even if you're not there. There's a distinction between that and the vandalizing and looting that goes on at a movement. Even though it might not be much of a distinction, here's the distinction. In that movement, there's a lot of people there. There's thousands of people there. So if you're standing there with a firearm in real time between your business and those people, there's no way you can expect that to come out in a positive. That's not going to come out, and nothing good is going to come from that. There's no way anything good could come from that. I mean, except for if it doesn't go, any violence happens, no violence, no burning, no nothing happens, and it all goes peaceful, everybody walks home peaceful, that's a different situation. But if looting and burning starts happening and you're standing there with guns, that's not going to help anything.
But
it's going to protect your TVs.
If looting and burning starts happening, don't you want to be standing there with a gun?
Me personally, if it was my business, no, I wouldn't shoot anybody over my material businesses. I just file an insurance claim and get my stuff back. And I know you guys said that take earlier, but this is a serious take. No, I won't shoot. I was a security guard. I explained this to you. It's not self-defense. Your materials at your job are insured. The place itself is insured. It has to be legally for you to own it or to rent it. Okay. But a human doesn't come back from death for making a mistake of stealing TVs during chaos. You're almost acting as a judge of a thief. Yeah, in real time. And no, that goes against my moral ethical compass, and I was employed in this field. Yep.
I agree. In a sense, like, it is a high cost of, like, you know, just taking a TV is equivalent to taking someone else's life. But at the same time, it's like, you know, there goes my livelihood, and then I have to fight with an insurance company that's not guaranteeing me compensation.
I hear that.
Like,
you're right. There's no win in this scenario. That's what I meant when I originally said there's no win. It's in a movement and stuff like this happen. There's no I can prevent the bad things from happening if I take my gun or if I don't. It doesn't. It's not preventing anything.
Yeah, I guess I think that for the most part, even if you agree with the movement and you're on their side, it's going to be really hard for you, as you say, in real time, to say, go ahead and burn my stuff down, and I'm going to stand here and watch you do it.
Well, that's fair enough. And to be honest with you, yeah, I wouldn't want to be there and see that happening. And this is something I've looked into, pondered myself. There's two people who talk about this who were both involved in movements before I was even born, way back in the 60s. That's Bobby Seale and his friend in the movement, Huey P. Newton. And they talked about how, you know, provocateurs and how violence happens and all of this during movements and stuff, and how you have to think about it on an individual level. And I know that might seem, it seems like that's an extreme take. Okay, my business would get burnt down and I wouldn't kill nobody, but that is the truth. That's where I've come to with my point in my life. Now, maybe that's just a personal take and it's not a 100% morally cement thing, but for me it is.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just because, you know, you don't come back from death. You know, I know it takes a lot to fight with the insurance company, which is right. And I know it takes the bootstraps in this country. I hate it. It's hard to pull yourself up from any catastrophe, tragedy that happens to you financially or anything. It's hard. But you can't pull someone you shoot down back from death. And they can't pull themselves up by the bootstraps ever again either.
yeah.
But they can repay you for that TV if they pull themselves up for the bootstrap. Maybe they can even repay you one day for all the damage they did if they're alive. But if they're not, it's a total loss. There's no win. Nobody won. They died, and you still got to fight the insurance company.
Yeah.
Another thing that needs a little bit of nuance into this is like, unless it's like an egregious thing where, you know, if Destiny was like in this position, it would have to be like, if they're taking something, it would have to be something serious. Like if it was just like, I don't know, like a couch or something, I don't think he would really care. But like if he took like a son, or, you know, like, you know,
Destiny's talking about
his computer
burning
or a
down.
car, like, yeah, I think it's different.
He's talking about them burning down your business, though, or burning down your house. So, like in Kenosha, on they had burnt down an entire car lot the night before, and so the next day, all of the business owners were saying, "Hey, we need people to come protect our businesses." Like a guy with he had spent his entire life savings buying used cars to resell, and all of them are inside of this building, and this building gets burnt down, and all of those cars are gone now. And so all of these grocery store owners, these mom and pop shops, like they all are now looking for protection from somebody because the police aren't really out there. They're not doing anything. And so they call on their citizens to come and stand guard and help. And I see that as a commendable thing to do, to put your life at risk for others' livelihood. And while at the same time, I'm in support of Black Lives Matter, I just haven't found an exact benefit from them burning things down. And I can justify them burning things down, but I haven't found a benefit from it to where I can say this person should lose their livelihood so that we can burn this building down.
Okay, let me elaborate. I don't want to ever suggest that it's okay or someone should lose, their business. Because that's not cool. That's discussed by people who are more of an authority on the matter of movements and marches and stuff like that than what I claim to be. And from what I hear about them, they're varying takes, all the way, from MLK to Malcolm X and back again. And their takes evolved over time, and other people's takes and stuff too. But, your thing about mentioning about, being willing to risk your life for someone's livelihood, which I understand that. But to me, and I'm going to be honest with you, this reads as a totally different sentence to me than what it reads to you. This goes back to how we interpret the Bible differently. What you just said means something different to me than it does to you. If you're willing to put your life on the line for someone's livelihood, don't shoot them over your TV. You just saved their life.
I think
what it is I don't think you're equating the value of a person in the movement's life to the value of the business owner or the provocateur.
I am.
Anybody's life. So if you have more materials in a business, you see, and it gets threatened in a movement, and someone dies for that, their death was justified.
I think that
that's not heroic, and it's not saving a livelihood. It's saving TVs.
I think you're oversimplifying.
I am
to say that it's a product versus somebody's life. It's more.
But that's literally what it is. It physically, literally is a TV versus a life. You cannot come back from death. You can get your TVs back. You can start a new business. You can sue the kid and prosecute the kid that stole your stuff. You can go about this. We have lots and lots of remedies. They're tough remedies, but they're there. A security guard doesn't kill someone over TV.
Well,
where I'm from.
I can push back a little bit on it. Like, you don't have to, like, murder someone, you could like shoot him in the leg or the arm. Like,
Well, we've heard that take. Yeah, that's right. Biden
That's-
said that take, and there's the Star Trek take that we should get tasers and taser people, which is our left take.
doesn't always have to end in the
Right.
the
No,
headshot. Like,
shooting at somebody's feet is very dangerous. Like trying to shoot somebody in the leg, it's very dangerous. You're more likely to hit the people behind them. You're more likely to get a ricochet, and like you are always better off aiming at the torso than anywhere else. Not the head. Not you always aim at the torso because that's the best shot to make it. That's the safest shot for everybody around you, and that's sad because it's also a very lethal shot. So if you're going to shoot, you have to assume you're going to kill that person.
So let me get back to a take you said a second ago about homes. You see, never would I suggest that you let someone burn your home down.
so a
That's
lot of those businesses have their home inside their business.
That gets kind of that gets kind of tricky. That's
That's
a little tricky. If you're
different,
living
yeah.
there and there's family and stuff living in, if there's people, there's people in there and the building's about to get burnt down, you better defend it. Yeah, it's a little different. I mean, I don't know. There's a nuance to the situation, I guess. I really don't want no one taking people's lives over some materials, but it's not always like that in real time.
Yeah, I mean, I
Right.
start considering.
I think
like,
he would agree with that
I
largely.
I start considering like just burning somebody's business down means that now they're out of work and now they may starve and now they may die, and this is kind of self-defense to stop them from burning it down. But then at the same time, I think, dude, COVID coming and shutting down millions of businesses
It could
across
very
the
well
nation.
be there.
All of these people are out of work, and all of these
Financial
people,
risk,
yeah, and there's no recourse there.
It might have already happened, to be honest with you. It could have happened. One of the businesses that got attacked might have went out of business because it couldn't come back from being it could have happened. And this is the issue where it comes down to, and I hate to go back to this, but there's a thing about, in a society when there's a movement, and I hate to use those words because they're starting to sound memey now, but it really is. You're going to take this on an individual level. Your one business, gets burnt down, you lose everything. Yeah, that really sucks. It does. It's terrible. If you die from that, you go homeless and you literally can't eat and pay your bills. Oh God, that's hurt feels. There's no words for that. But it was not, this movement didn't do that to you personally. And maybe the provocateurs did it. They did do it to you personally because it was done to you personally, but they didn't, it's a little bit of a different situation when you're talking about movements than you're talking about what you might do if you're defending your stuff outside of a movement. If you know that there's a protest coming through your area, that's pretty deep. There's no guarantees. In the real world, shit goes awry. It's an individual choice. If maybe it is an individual perception.
Okay. Any other topics?